G'day guys, my name is Wildkard, welcome back to my channel. The Autumn Nations series is heading into week 2, and this weekend, Wales will be taking on Michael Cheika's Argentina in Cardiff, and this will be a very exciting one, and this is a very interesting game that I wanted to see, because both teams has a chance of winning this one, in my opinion. Michael Cheika came out in the news this week, underplaying Argentina as the underdogs. He kind of states that Cardiff is a difficult place to win with the home fans supporting the team. It is somewhat true. The Welsh has shown a lot of resilience at home, but also they have been pretty poor this year as well. So it's a 50-50 call whether or not Wales is going to show up and really take that home advantage with them. But it is definitely an issue that a lot of teams have faced in the recent times. Wales obviously made a few changes after the loss against the All Blacks. The pretty big flogging, probably one of the biggest one, that is that Alan Wynne-Jones has been dropped from the team completely. The history between the two teams in terms of results, Argentina has won 6, Wales has won 13. There has been 1 draw overall, and last time the two teams, actually, Argentina quite convincingly beat Wales. So for Michael Cheika to come out and say Argentina is still the underdogs, it's a really, really interesting call to say the least. And that was last year. So it's going to be, that was last year in July. So it's going to be interesting. There is a caveat with the results from last year. This was during the Lions tour in July. The Welsh team basically had a B team that was up against Argentina's A side. So don't read into too much of this result, because that was a very, very second tier team from the Welsh side. Prior to that, Wales has been quite convincingly beating Argentina for quite some years. So the weather in Cardiff is going to be 17 degrees, no rain on the weekend. There will be a roof on Cardiff, so even if it does rain, it should not be an issue. But overall, it's going to be a pretty decent conditions, and they'll have the roof open to allow God to watch the game. And so some recent results, as I've mentioned, Argentina actually has some pretty impressive results going into this game. So Argentina has beaten Scotland in a 3-test series in July, and then went on to basically losing to Australia and then putting out a huge win over Australia. This is a flogging. This was one of the most embarrassing moments in the Australian rugby history. Quite a big flogging over Australia. Follow that up with a win in New Zealand against the All Black, a historic first time ever. And that went on. But following that win, it was almost like the team felt like they've done everything they could, and they sort of just dropped off for the last 3 series. Last week, Argentina beat England. We'll have a look at the stats in a minute. By 1 point, 30 points to 29. Wales, on the other hand, has a pretty poor season in the Six Nations. They lost to Ireland. They barely beat Scotland. And then they lost to England in a really close match. And this is one of those games where Wales really came out swinging. And then they had a really impressive performance again against France, despite losing 9 points to 13. France was the Grand Slam winners. And then, kind of like Argentina, Wales went, we did pretty well 2 games in a row against England and France. Let's take the break off. This was the Alan Wynne-Jones big return as well. Losing to Italy at home. This was, again, one of the most embarrassing moments in Wales rugby's history. It was like they literally fell asleep right at the end, allowing Italy to score a try at the depths of the clock, and then beating Wales in Cardiff. They did have a really good run in South Africa, coming out ahead against the Springboks in the second test, but overall losing the series. They got flogged last week by the Kiwis. So let's quickly have a look at some of the stats. England versus Argentina, this was a really interesting game. So all the stats seems to go to the England side. So as you can see, the penalties are pretty even. England may struggle a little bit in the scrummaging, but overall you can see let's make this bigger. So overall you can see that England actually had a higher kicking percentage, and more run meters, more possession, more attacking, more everything. And what Argentina did do really well is hanging in the game. And when given the opportunity, they pounced on it and they forced penalties that was very, very kickable in crucial times. And slowly but surely, they managed to hold on and eventually just managed to creep themselves ahead. For the last 10 minutes, England I was really disappointing. England had about 10 minutes to score 1 point, and it didn't look like the English 4-pack wanted to play the last 10 minutes at all. It was quite embarrassing in my opinion. I thought the players really didn't have the heart to finish off the game the last 10 minutes, and that was kind of surprising, especially when it was home game as well. Really disappointing to see that. But regardless, we're here to talk about Argentina. Argentina, on the other hand, in the last 10 minutes, managed again perfectly to hold on to that 1 point. They ran the clock down legally, as they were supposed to, and as they're allowed, and finished the game with a 1 point lead to win a big upset, I would say, against England at Twickenham. So for the Welsh, they got flogged by the New Zealand. So some of the big glaring issues came out of this game is the number of line breaks that some of the New Zealand players were able to put on. So Adi Savia 6. So this is defenders beaten. 6 defenders beaten. 3 defenders beaten. Dalton Papali'i. 2 defenders beaten. Shannon Patel. So the loose forwards from the All Blacks really did a lot of work. Somasani Takiaho, the hooker, beaten 3 players. So there was just brutal forward running, lots of crash balls, and the Welsh 4-pack was not able to front up and hold on to the onslaught. And that was pretty much it. Overall, if you look at the stats, it's actually like in terms of penalty count and scrummaging, all pretty close. So there's not clear like in terms of structural issues from the Welsh team, but yeah, the onslaught from the New Zealand forwards just almost with the physicality was able to beat Wales. Finally, let's quickly have a look at the lineup. So Wales have made 4 changes to the team. Gareth Thomas comes in number 1, Ken Owens number 2, Dylan Lewis at number 3. They did struggle a little bit against New Zealand in scrummaging, but not too much. So overall, I thought the scrum was quite okay. But then again, Argentina had a really good scrum against England, and England did have a pretty good scrum overall in the Six Nations. So I do probably see the Argentinians might have a tiny bit of advantage in the scrummaging. Thomas Gallows, one of the youngsters that came through the ranks to Argentina, he was literally a guy holding the tackling bag last year, and then some of the players in Argentinian side broke COVID rules to when travel around Australia for some sightseeing. Was not allowed to play. So Gallows got an opportunity to play off the bench and immediately scored a try against the All Blacks. And since then, it's all history. He's been like pretty much the starting loose head prop for Checker for quite a while now. And his ball carrying game is actually really spectacular to see as well, despite the fact that he's a loose head prop. So he has that ability to carry the ball, and he's quite a young guy, a lot of energy, a lot of speed, and the scrummaging is pretty impressive as well for someone who's still got 5 years to reach his peak in terms of physical capacity. So yeah, he's like quite an impressive guy. Julian Montoya, the captain, a breakdown specialist. He did it quite well against England. He did this quite well in Super Rugby as well. Able to force a turnover penalty at the breakdowns, giving him a tiny bit of space, tiny bit of sniff. He will do that and turn the ball over. Francisco Gomez Cordella comes in a tight head position for Argentina. Pretty sure Cordella normally starts on the bench. But since he's normally started on the bench, I think earlier in the season, and in recent times he's becoming the favorite for Michael Checker in that number 3 jersey. So for the Welsh in the lock position, Will Rowlands and Adam Beard, the combination they used last week. It was really interesting to see that Adam Beard was taken off at halftime for Alan Wynne-Jones. I felt like Will Rowlands should have come off because Adam Beard is, for a while has been the replacement, not just as a player but also as a captain for Wales. So I was really surprised to see him taken off in favor of Alan Wynne-Jones at halftime, no less. Not like 60 minutes, 65 minutes into the game. At halftime, he was taken off during the break. So that was really interesting. Kind of mind-boggling for me from Wayne Pivac to do that. Matias Almano comes in number 4. Thomas Lavanini, one of the highest penalty rates player in world rugby ever, basically, is the number 5. But he was his discipline has been improving almost every week. So it's really good to see him really like calming down a lot of that anger, a lot of that hot-headed decisions, and being able to direct that in rugby. So that's a really, really big thumbs up for the improvements that I've seen from Lavanini. Dan Lydiate coming number 6. Juan Martin Gonzalez, number 6 for Argentina. Justin Tiburik, number 7. Marcos Crema, number 7 for Argentina. Talope Falatau comes in at number 8. Pablo Matera comes in for Argentina at number 8. So in terms of loose forwards, Justin Tiburik had a huge game last week for Wales. One of the highest work rate in the team. Marcos Crema almost plays like a second number 8 for Argentina. He uses the size. He's quite a big guy. Uses the size. Likes to crash the ball a lot. And again, he also has a little bit of anger issues that sometimes he tends to lose the head a little bit. But again, in recent times, he's been doing quite well and really, keeping his head cool. Pablo Matera is the best player in the Argentina team these days. He spent a season with the Crusaders in New Zealand, and he really brought a lot of that experience and a lot of those skills and techniques from New Zealand, and you can clearly see that he's spreading that around his teammates in terms of the ball carrying, offloading, something that the All Blacks does really well. The support runner, when there's a line break, tremendous amount of experience that he brought into the Argentinian side ever since his return from New Zealand. Falatau also has been quite good for Wales since he returned from injury. Really bring a bit more physicality in the 4-pack as well, and a bit more speed. In the back line, we've got Tomo Williams in number 9. Gonzalo Bertrano comes in number 9 for Argentina. Gareth Anscombe finally gets number 10 jersey once again. Last week, he was named at number 10, and then due to an injury to what's his name? To the fullback, Lee Halfpenny injuring before the test match. Anscombe was moved to 15. Reece Priestland was put in number 10, kind of like a last minute thing. I was really baffled by that decision. I thought Anscombe surely was a better 10 with the decision making. He was the one basically came onto the field against the Springboks and beat the Springboks in 10 minutes essentially. He did what Dan Biggar couldn't do for like 65, 70 minutes of the game. He came on, set the team through for a try, and closed out the game with a 1-point win over the Springboks. The first win ever in South Africa for the Welsh was basically, when Gareth Anscombe was on the field. So I was really impressed by that. I thought surely he was the better option to start at 10. So this week we finally will see him at 10. We shall see how good he actually is. And he was, in fact, before he was injured for like many years, he was literally in 2019 Rugby World Cup, he was the premier number 10 selection by Wayne. I was gonna say Wayne Bennett, but by the former coach, what's his name? He was basically the premier number 10, and then he got injured, and Dan Biggar took over. So this is a really kind of another opportunity for him to rise to that occasion and try to take the number 10 jersey going into the Rugby World Cup. Santiago Carreras has shown a lot of improvement as well. Again, he was an injury replacement. He used to play fullback. He was an injury replacement for Nicolas Sanchez. And ever since he took the 10 jersey, he's just been improving. He started as just like, you can tell, like, clearly someone who hasn't played 10, like, pretty much at all. And nowadays, he's looking like a world-class 10. His carrying, his decision-making, his passing was pinpoint accurate. His kicking game is really, really good. And just like, he's brought that almost like a rugby league style. Something that's really, because obviously when he switched to 10, he never really played 10 before. So Michael Cheika really had the opportunity to mold him into the 10 that he wants, taught him exactly the things that he wanted to teach him, and really made him to like a 10 that's almost a rugby league style fly half for the Argentinian side. So a lot of the way that he plays the short balls, the way he passes the ball, the way he moves around the field, looks like a rugby league 10. And that is something that I have no doubt is Michael Cheika's intention. And he's been extremely good for Argentina out of that 10 jersey. Rio Dyer, I think he was debuted last week. He's a new guy. Debuted last week. He came onto the field and he scored a try for Wales. He's like literally his debut against the All Blacks. So that was really, really impressive. Emiliano Bofelli, he's a goal kicker. He has like very high goal kicking percentage, like 90%, close to 90% strike rate. anywhere inside your 50. So he's going to be the one that takes the kicking duty for Argentina. He's also a tremendously good ball runner and a decent kicking game on the field as well. Emiliano Buffetti, a number 11 jersey, quite dangerous. Nick Tompkins, again, another guy who's really, really good for Wales. I was taken off the field quite early. I thought I think he might have a blood bin or something. I thought he was taken off a bit early as well. Tompkins always the one of the horse, right? And in fact, the Wales look like much more dangerous when Tompkins was on the field. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was Tompkins who fed the pass to Dyer, who scored that try, first try, opened up the All Blacks. So I was really impressed with Tompkins. Always, I thought he was really impressive. But again, Pivac took me off the field quite early, and once he left the field, you can clearly see the Welsh attack is missing a lot of spark. Jeremino De La Fuente comes in for number 12 for Argentina. Matias Moroni, a two very, steady combination for the Argentinian side, comes in number 13. George North gets number 13 jersey. He's been injured for a very long time. His performance in recent times has been okay, but I feel like he's still got a bit of rust to work off from his injury. Alex Cuthbert comes in number 14 for Wales. Mateo Carreras comes in number 14 for Argentina. And finally, a fullback, the big selection, Luis Rees Zamet gets number 15 jersey. He had expressed playing the number 15 jersey in the past, but he finally gets his dream come true to show some difference from, a bit of a different skill out of the 15 jersey. He is one of the players, has a really high, individual kicking game, where he can kick and chase the ball down and recover the ball and score a try. And he's done that again and again for Wales, so he's very dangerous at 15. And so the kicking game from Wales needs to be a little bit checked against Rees Zamet. Juan Cruz Malia gets number 15 jersey once again for Argentina. It just quickly goes through the reserves. Ryan Elias, number 16. Rodri Jones, number 17. Sam Wainwright, number 18 for Wales. Front rowers reserves. Ignacio Ruiz comes in number 16 for Argentina. Nahu Taz Caparo comes in number 17. Eduardo Bello comes in number 18 for Argentina. Ben Carter, number 19 for Wales. Jack Morgan, number 20. Lucas Paulos, number 19 for Argentina. And Facundo Iza, number 20 for Argentina. Kieran Hardy, number 21, a reserve halfback. Reece Priestland, number 22, to reserve 10. And Owen Watkins, number 23. I guess the utility reserve for all the back positions. Alicio Morales comes in number 21 for Argentina. Thomas Albrono comes in number 22 for Argentina. And Matias Orlando, kind of again, he's pretty sure he plays center normally, but I guess will be the overall cover for Argentina for the back line. And that is the game. I do think that Argentina, despite what Michael Cheika says, is the favorite going into this game. One of the comments from last week was that Argentina use a different game plan every time they play. I do think that is a strategy that Michael Cheika will be utilizing. And I do think Argentina might look at what the All Blacks has done and really try to impose some of that dominance in terms of the 4-pack and the set piece. They do have some pretty good ball runners in their 4-pack in the form of, Pablo Matera and even Thomas Gallo are really ball runners for Argentina's side. So I would not be surprised if they try the same strategy as the All Blacks. My prediction is Argentina win 21 points to 18. I do think that it's going to be a close one, but I do think that Argentina will be able to manage the game and put up another upset. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. I want to keep these videos a little bit shorter. I did not make the stats page for everyone because it just takes too long. And I don't know, I might get 200 views on this video, and it's just way too long. And I'll do those for the bigger games and more important games. I'll see how this video goes, and let me know your thoughts if you want me to do the stats anyway for these players. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys later this week for the reviews. Cheers.